All right, check the mic. Instant reaction. I think we're live here. Instant reaction time. We just came over from the watch-along set, but now live for everybody. What a game. 33-31. Cincinnati Bengals get the win over the Pittsburgh Steelers. A shootout between the old men, Flacco and Aaron Rodgers.
What a game from the Geriatric Bowl. Old man Flacco, old man Rodgers, wow, did they combine for a ball game. You had Flacco out here balling like he's never balled before, and then Rodgers off the back of a couple of throws in the last couple of weeks where we're like, ooh, does Rodgers still have the juice in that arm? Uncorks a 68-yard Hail Mary at the death and got it to the goal line for nobody to really challenge for it and it to fall incomplete. But wow, what a game.
I mean, I could go on and on about how the Hail Mary is completely luck, but if like somebody caught that, they'd be like, Rodgers does it again. Like if DK Metcalf just randomly went up and caught it, oh my gosh, Rodgers. But like,
I don't even care.
But
you have
the right answer. He did the amazing thing, which was throw the ball that far. That's not the story of the game, but he did his job on that. And I was almost, questioning the Bengals kicking it right into the end zone and giving them the opportunity to set up the Hail Mary.
And I remember thinking, I can't remember which one, but one of the storied Aaron Rodgers Hail Marys in his career, like the most impressive thing about the play was that he got it to the end zone from wherever the hell he was launching that ball. I would not, if you had told me, I mean, even during the game, if you had told me during the game that Rodgers still had a 68-yard throw in his arm, I would have said you're crazy. And yet he almost replayed the Jeff Janis one or whatever, where like the roll out to his left, spin, back out, hitch up, and then boom, uncorked it. I didn't think there was any chance that was making the end zone.
What an amazing game here. Steelers got up 10-0. It felt like, hey, the Bengals aren't that good this year. The Steelers are 4-1. They're in control. Then the Bengals went and scored the next 20 points to go up 20-10. I love that stat at the end. Both teams were up 10 at some point. Steelers 10-0, Bengals 20-17. And then it was just going back and forth with scores. And then at the very end, I mean, the story of the game was Joe Flacco also playing just unbelievable football, going 31 of 47 for 342, and Jamar Chase being uncoverable, 16 catches on 23 targets for 161. And then T. Higgins, who had made some big plays. He had a great catch and run for a touchdown early.
Yeah.
And then he has the 29-yarder late where he could have run it into the end zone, but makes a really smart move, sliding it about the 5-yard line. And I'll talk about why that was so smart again, but like just Flacco to Chase and Higgins was unstoppable tonight.
Yeah, it was. I mean, all the skill position players in this game really went off. I mean, Jamar Chase, absolutely unstoppable all the way through the game. 23 targets, 16 catches, $161. And late in the game, somehow the Steelers are still not covering him, like dropping coverage completely on a shallow drag when Patrick Queen running off to cover somebody else who's already covered. There's a degree of suicidal coverage that the Steelers employed in this game with Jamar Chase, given this was quite obviously going to be the game plan. And yeah, they can still go to T. Higgins, and T. Higgins will make some plays. But like Jamar Chase not being basically double or bracket covered for the entirety of this game is kind of insane to me. But he was insane. He was nuts. T. Higgins made a couple of huge plays during the course of the game. Chase Brown was really good. Princeton, Yoshivas made a couple of plays, having made a big mess of the game last week. And then we have to talk about Joe Flacco. Old man Flacco with 342 yards, 3 touchdowns, 108.6 passer rating. I cannot believe that this is the player that we saw for the first few weeks. Not just the first few weeks in Cleveland, but like the last 5 years of his career.
Yeah.
This is a guy who has now played basically 2 completely clean games without putting the ball in harm's way. He was 3rd in the NFL in interceptions before being traded to the Bengals. And you're like, yeah, like if you told me Flacco can put up 342 yards in any game, I would have been, okay, sure. No problem believing that whatsoever. If you told me he was able to do that without putting the ball in harm's way at all, I would say that's crazy. There's no evidence that that's the case in the last few years. And this win makes the trade worthwhile on its own because the Bengals' upcoming schedule gets very, very easy for a few weeks. And that buys them the time to still be alive like into December. And that on its own makes this trade well worth it.
Yeah, I mean, I thought when they traded for Flacco, it would be better than what they saw from Drake Browning and that they could get some of the high-end games, but maybe not this high-end. And what we've seen from Flacco here. And as you mentioned, their schedule gets easier. The Steelers' schedule gets more difficult.
Right.
They were already it was a battle of first and second place here, a 4-1 team and a 2-4 team coming in. Now it's the Bengals at 3-4, the Steelers at 4-2.
Meanwhile, this result probably puts the 1-win Ravens back.
Yeah,
in
the Ravens are probably the favorite to win
Right.
the division. They both have to play the Ravens twice still, and who knows how good or bad they're going to be when that happens with Lamar Jackson back and if they get the defense back. But just you explained this on the watch along really well, just how important this game is. And how, it is worth it to give the Bengals a little bit of life. And their goal here in what could be an open division now, their goal is to sneak into the playoffs. And if they can sneak into the playoffs and get Burrow back sometime in January to make that playoff run, as great as Flacco played tonight, you still probably want Joe Burrow.
Oh, of course.
But what a story for this, to go down. The stadium it looked like it was bumping over there down the street here in Cincy. Anything else on that? I want to talk the Higgins play. That was so huge.
Yeah, no, it was. The Bengals. It was interesting late on because Aaron Rodgers made a couple of big plays. The Steelers end up coming back, and then what had been very easy for the Bengals to just feed the ball to Chase underneath the whole way, they started getting a bit more aggressive and low percentage with some of the plays. Like the first play of one of their drives late, they threw a fade on the outside to Chase, and even though the ball was there, I mean, it was a great pass by Joe Flacco. I actually put it exactly where it needed to be. It's a low percentage play, and Chase couldn't get a second hand on the ball. It's incomplete. They went a lot more low percentage, and that shot to Higgins was kind of just a heave it and hope deal, and Higgins beat Jalen Ramsey on the play, made the play.
And then Higgins, so it's 31-30 Steelers at that time. About it was just at the 2-minute warning, so a little under 2 minutes left in the game. Higgins makes the catch. He could have run in for a touchdown. Goes down at the 5-yard line. And I mentioned on our broadcast here why it was so important. The Steelers only had 2 timeouts at that time. If they had 3 timeouts, the play is probably to take the touchdown. I think it was that close, but because he went down at the 5, Steelers could only stop the clock twice, which gave the Bengals opportunities to take 3 knees and essentially get the clock all the way down to 7 as they did, right? It was always going to be, hey, you're going to give the Steelers 7 to 10 seconds here, basically, if you go down at the 5. And so I just think credit to either T. Higgins, who just knew this, the Bengals on the sideline, whatever preparation they had, and said, look, if you have a chance to run into the end zone, you're better off going down at the 5 on this particular play. Because if the Steelers had 3 timeouts, then they kick a field goal, go up 2, and the Steelers have 50 seconds where you're just 2 quick passes away from being in field goal range. And so that was just a massive play and really smart. There were so many high-leverage plays in this game. Aaron Rodgers' last touchdown to Pat Freiermuth. I mean, they had, I thought, a phantom holding call on Broderick Jones, made it 2nd and 20. Rodgers, on the next play, avoids quick pressure, scrambles out to his left, gets the ball to Pat Freiermuth for a 68-yard touchdown. I hadn't seen Rodgers move in the pocket like that. He made a couple plays that were really impressive. Like, Rodgers had not been great under pressure last year with the Jets, this year early with the Steelers. He sidestepped that pressure, and I see Nate Tice just putting out there. The Hail Mary was 69.8 yards in the air per next-gen stats. That would be the furthest an NFL QB has thrown a pass since 2017.
Yeah, that's absolutely nuts. Again, if you had told me that he had that in his arm still, I would have said absolutely no chance. That is a monster of a throw.
After he randomly, last week, he underthrew one by, you'd say, 5 yards or so, an open DK. And earlier in this game, threw an interception on one that he left inside and looked like he just didn't get everything into it.
But the one thing we said at the time is that both of those throws looked the same mechanically, in that he was sort of doing that thing that he does where he's on one leg flicking it with his wrist and it just didn't get there. And we were speculating that at this age, maybe that's when you need your feet under you. Maybe that's when you can't just flick it all arm. And this was one, obviously, because of the Hail Mary, he put everything into it. It was the full step through, crow hop, legs underneath you. Let's see if I've got 69, 70 yards in me. And he did.
From a Steelers point of view, this is such a missed opportunity for them, because on paper you're a 4-1 team however you get there, 4-1 team that should be beating the Bengals that has Joe Flacco as the quarterback, right? And we were talking about this as well on the live stream. Tomlin being like 2-9 on road Thursday night games or whatever that stat is, and these weird quirks in the Mike Tomlin era that are strangely consistent across having Big Ben and Kenny Pickett and Mitch Trubisky and whoever, and Justin Fields and Russell Wilson, and across all these different quarterbacks. And they always seem to win games that they shouldn't, be competitive in some games that they shouldn't, but also lose games that they shouldn't. And it's almost like they're calibrated to just win 9 or 10 when they had a chance to go to 5-1, to really put some separation between them and the rest of the division. Just a missed opportunity here for Pittsburgh, I think, just given their records coming into this game.
It was. And particularly when you think about how they match up. I mean, that Steelers defensive front, we saw it once or twice in the game, where it took over and Cameron Hayward makes a play, grabs hold of Flacco and brings him down. It wasn't, it felt like that should have been constant throughout this game. That pass rush that they can deploy should have been absolutely ruining Flacco's night. It didn't. Their coverage on the back end, again, inexcusable the drop coverage play was ridiculous. The idea that after 16 catches or whatever it was at that point, you are still somehow allowing Jamar Chase to be the beneficiary of a coverage bust, but also to not, where's the game plan where's the Bill Belichickian game plan of bracket covering him every play, double teaming him, forcing you to go somewhere else, anywhere else? And even if, T. Higgins then beats you for $150 or whatever, you can't just allow them to do whatever they want with Jamar Chase.
I think that's never really been Tomlin's thing. It is, I think the talent that Pittsburgh has on the defensive side, it's very inconsistent. I think the coverage unit has been hit or miss this year. The pass rush, what happened to the pass rush tonight? Well, Joe Flacco's quick release, getting rid of the ball. He has really morphed his game in his old age here. Morphed his game into, quick decisions, get rid of the ball. That's definitely how he's been playing these last 2 weeks with Cincinnati. He had a Cleveland offensive line that he needed to mitigate early in the year. He has a similarly bad Bengals offensive line, but he's mitigating it with quick decisions, and it helps having, a Jamar Chase who gets open quickly, a T. Higgins who might not get open quickly, but you're going to trust and get him the ball and throw him open. But Flacco's just making all the right moves, protecting this bad offensive line, and it does look night and day right now compared to what it was with Jake Browning, who was not playing on time at all during his time filling in for Joe Burrow.
No, Browning was playing terribly and putting the ball in harm's way. The most remarkable thing about this Flacco performance is it's been such a clean brand of football. He's been getting the ball out quick. He's been putting it generally extremely accurately. There were a few absolute dimes in here. Now, there were a couple, like that T. Higgins play at the end was kind of a nothing ball location, and Higgins just tosses Jalen Ramsey to the side, at which point the location's kind of there's a lot of margin for error by the point that ball actually arrives. So I'm not that one doesn't go in the Flacco dime bucket, even though it looks perfect by the end of it. But the throw we talked about before, the low percentage fade, actually was a perfect ball location. So he had a bunch of extremely good passes.
The one to Princeton over the middle of the field was really good.
Beautiful pass. So he's been incredibly accurate. He's been getting the ball out quick. He's been putting it in the right places. And again, has not put it in harm's way. And that just simply has not been a feature of his game for 5 years. It's amazing.
He's had good games, too, in the last 5 years.
Right, but he's now had 6 quarters of really good play and 8 quarters of not putting the ball in harm's way.
No turnover-worthy plays, or not many, at least, if anything.
Right.
So, impressive by Flacco. And why is this significant? Obviously, the win. Bengals are now 3-4, their first win since week 2 when Joe Burrow started against the Jacksonville Jaguars. They have the Jets coming up here, the Bengals.
Yep.
So Jets coming up to try to get to 4-4, then the Bears, a bye week, and then the Steelers again. Whereas Pittsburgh has, was it Green Bay? So you get the big showdown. Steelers, Aaron Rodgers facing his old team, facing the Packers. That's coming up next week, Sunday Night Football. And then the Colts, who obviously playing a really good football. Then the Chargers, and then the Bengals again. So the Steelers now at 4-2. That's 4 straight pretty tough games. Then the Bears and the Bills and Ravens, they have a tough stretch here compared to what they've just come out of.
Yeah, and we've mentioned them before in terms of they may well be favorites for the division after this game gets put through the FanDuel odds computers. Baltimore is lurking on the horizon to play both these teams, right? They've got each of them twice. So even if they're behind both of them at that point,
Oh, yeah,
the
Baltimore-
Ravens have 4 games against these 2 teams to overhaul them within the division.
And then that's the predictability of the Mike Tomlin teams. They'll maybe have one nice game against the Ravens and then get smoked in the other one and go from there.
Anthony dropped it in the chat. Mike Tomlin falls to 0-7 on Thursday Night Football in road division games in his career. This is a guy that's never had a losing season as a head coach, and he's 0-7 on road Thursday Night Football games.
Those are the things that I don't think should make sense. They shouldn't matter.
I mean, that shouldn't be
until
possible.
it becomes such a trend. But it's like a trend across multiple quarterbacks and for such
Right.
a long stretch. Like, it must mean something,
For a
right?
guy who's never had a losing season, that's statistically incredibly improbable. Like, that's really hard to do.
Man. So for Steelers fans, a lot of them are critical of Mike Tomlin. I'm oversimplifying.
I mean, this is a bad loss for them.
It's a real bad loss.
And it's a bad loss. And as much as, Flacco is fantastic, Jamar Chase is incredible, T. Higgins made arguably the play of the game late. A lot of people deserve credit for Cincinnati. You have to throw a lot of blame in the direction of Pittsburgh and say, this is not a game you should have lost.
The other news coming out of tonight.
Well, the real story of the game.
And the real story of the game. It's Pony.
Yes.
Andrew Filippone, our guy.
Andrew Filippone of
Pony, Mulsey, the PM show.
937 The Fan in Pittsburgh.
I do my weekly hit with those guys, and he was on one this week. He's like, man, he's feeling good.
We've
Steelers
never,
are 4-1.
is his show, does it sound like his Twitter feed?
No.
Because
I don't listen to the show other than when they ask me questions.
Right, because Pony's Twitter feed is shouty show-like. But we've said before, it needs to be in audio form to make the show. It can't just be, here's a tweet. But Pony tweets the way, the shouty show people speak.
Oh, yeah. I think he's way more brain dump on Twitter
right.
than he is on the show.
So, for example, Pony, before the show, he'd already tweeted that there's no way the Steelers lose this game, right? He then doubled down on it before the game, 3:12 p.m. today, and said, I believe we can throw this up on the
18
screen.
minutes before I joined the show, by the way.
Right. There's no way the Steelers lose tonight. Again, already said that. In fact, I'll get my nipples pierced with no numbing agents if they lose to the Bengals. It ain't happening. Man, you got to regret that at this point.
And look, when it was 10-0,
Looked good.
feeling good about his
Yeah,
nips.
looked
They were
easy.
okay. It's 20-10. I'm thinking, I'm feeling for this bold take here.
Yeah.
From Pony. And I can't imagine, he's already a diehard Steelers fan. I can't imagine the emotional roller coaster that he just went on this Thursday night on a crisp fall evening here in Cincinnati, or him in Pittsburgh.
I mean, people talk about...
What a roller coaster.
People talk... one of the lures of sports gambling, sports betting, is that you want to feel some involvement, some engagement in the game. You want to feel alive, right?
You bet your nipples you're engaged.
I got $20 in this game. I am interested in it in a way I wouldn't be otherwise. Can you imagine having the safety of your nipples with no numbing agent riding on the geriatric bowl on Thursday Night Football?
Oh, it's just crazy, man. So,
I mean, look, with the greatest of respect to Pony, I think there's a smaller than 2% chance he follows through on this, but still, it's kind of funny. I mean, it's not kind of funny, it's very funny.
I mean, he is the author of a previous bold take that Kenny Pickett is Joe Burrow 2.0, which may have come
Maybe he just meant injury.
in the middle of an August football game.
Maybe he just meant injury prone.
Maybe he just meant hand size.
Maybe hands.
He's the next 9-inch handed quarterback to be in the NFL, which is
It's just another guy with short hands,
which is true.
Small hands.
So a lot of fun. It was a great game tonight. A lot of fun. We joked a lot about the older quarterbacks, but I thought Flacco and Rodgers both played well. They both went
really
back
did.
and forth. Very entertaining game and a pivotal game, right? It wasn't just a Cincinnati team that had 4 straight losses. They've salvaged their season, and it's like game on now in the AFC North.
I mean, I feel like Flacco played better than Rodgers, but Rodgers made a couple of really big plays, had them in it, and then I'm so just captivated by the fact that Rodgers still found a 69.5-yard throw in his body at this age.
Yeah, when there were signs that maybe there was a couple underthrows and there's a couple that he missed the last couple of weeks. I still think he's got zip. I've been saying this the last 2 years. I think he still has the physicality, like the physical ability. But to your point, like if you're slightly off platform,
Like,
it
I
might
don't
not
know.
all be there. But this one, he put everything into it and he got it there.
I don't know how many quarterbacks have a 73-yard throw in them in the NFL. I mean, there's some, obviously, but I don't know that the number is that large.
And then here's the quick rant on it is this is how silly we all are, right? What if DK caught that? If your reaction should be no different
Right.
to that throw, whether DK Metcalf got in position to catch it or not, or it was batted down as it was easily batted down.
It is kind of crazy that nobody was even in a position to challenge for that, particularly because I think 2 receivers were like 5 yards into the end zone. I mean, with the greatest respect, we're talking about how insane it is that he made it 70 yards to the goal line. What were you doing 5 yards deep? Like, what did you think? You had a 75-yard throw in him?
That's a good point. Get to the front. Get to the front
Right.
of the end
Get
zone.
to the goal line and hope it makes it there.
All I'm saying is every time Rodgers hit,
I mean, I guess one guy goes behind in case you get the batted ball like
when
the
he
Washington thing. But
when
still.
he completed one of those Hail Marys, other than the one where he had to roll left and was under pressure and he got it, that was super impressive. The other ones, it's like it's literally luck. He does a good job with the arc.
Of
and
course,
everything.
yeah. I mean, I don't. Are there many people arguing different?
I'm telling you, could you imagine the stories would completely change
Of
if
course.
just one guy caught that?
Right.
But it's the same throw. It's just the same throw. Just bring in
Again,
logic.
the remarkable thing is that he had that throw in him, which again was the remarkable
good,
thing back
yeah.
when he did it to Jeff Janis back in the day. Like Rodgers, the fact that it's again, my mind is kind of blown that he has a 70-yard throw in him at 43 years old or whatever he is.
That was impressive. And I think Rodgers played his best football. A couple bad ones, and I mean, pretty much one bad interception. DJ Turner
One really
stole
bad play.
that other
and
one,
honestly,
which was a great play.
If you want to, I mean, if you boil it all down, that's a difference, right? Rodgers, they
There
had
were
2
two turnovers
turnovers.
in that,
One of them
yeah.
was really unlucky. DJ Turner makes a great play. I'm not 100% sure that was an interception. I would have called that an incomplete pass given the battling for it and the fact they were falling over the sideline at the time. Whatever. That one's not on Rodgers, if you like. The other one is just a bad throw. I mean, I don't know that it's necessarily a misread of coverage, but it's at best speculative, optimistic into bad coverage.
And threw it way inside.
And it was bad location. Yeah. So that was a bad interception. And ultimately, when you look at it, how close the game was, what it came down to, you don't turn that ball over, you probably win the game.
Last thing, Bengals offense looked good. I mean, this was the first time they ran the ball. Chase Brown, big game for him. They stepped up when they needed it. Flacco ran the show, but top to bottom, Chase Brown, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Princeton, all made contributions. It's best the Bengals offense has looked all season.
Yeah.
And not great for a Steelers defense that has so much talent. Should be a great pass rush, should be good up front, they're a little bit older in the secondary, but it's all talented players, Jalen Ramsey, Darius Slay, Joey Porter Jr., and Bengals picked them apart.
And again, just to reiterate, this win alone means they're right that it was worth trading for Joe Flacco.
Yeah.
Because this buys them the run at the next few weeks, which if they win those games that they could or should win now, right? The easier games, quote unquote, on their schedule. The Jets, they should be heavy favorites for. The Bears, they should be able to beat whether or not they will or not. And then the Steelers again, who they've just beaten. If they can beat those 3 teams, that takes you to November 16. Even if you lose the next 2 or 3, you're into December still alive in the division, right? So, and that's getting you, within sight of the finish line and to whatever Joe Burrow's potential return line is. That was the goal. Like, let's just stay alive into December. And that's what Joe Flacco was brought in to do. I didn't think he was able to do that for them. And this win alone potentially gets them there.
All right, man. We had a lot of fun with our live stream. We had a live stream it was free for 30 minutes for members only. Appreciate everybody who joined in with the new membership. Remember, the whole show is free, but there's extra perks if you join the membership tiers, 3 different tiers. So you get those extra live watch-alongs and other fun perks as well. So go check those out right here on YouTube.
Yeah, a lot of bonus content coming out here and there. There's a collab show that I did with Mina, which you can find at the very bottom of our main page on YouTube. If you scroll all the way to the bottom, it's a little bit hidden, the collab stuff. We've got a bonus show with Justin Pugh where you stop by the show. Tomorrow morning, we've got a little book club episode going out, our first book club episode. So if you like those, if you like that one in particular, fire in the comments, let us know, give us some suggestions for future books. I think that's a cool series we can do where we have on an author, talk about a particular book and all read together, just like back in the day.
Yeah. I hope you find some readers amongst our viewers.
It's got to be somebody. It's got to be somebody out there still reading a book.
I hope so.
I got a child in decline because
or at least reading AI summaries.
Yeah, I got a child in decline because they're expecting her to read books in middle school and stuff.
Oh yeah, sad.
It's rough. Yeah.
All right, that's it for us. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. That's our live reaction. Bengals Steelers. We'll see you again next live reaction Sunday night in between the 4s and the 8s.